Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Today's Time for All Ages is called The Seed of Endless Possibilities. And some of the dirt fell off. Once, there was a seed, and this seed contained endless possibilities. It had the ability to grow ideas that had never been thought of before and give the push to ideas we have been scared to try. However, this seed couldn't plant itself. It needed someone to put it and place it in the soil and tell it they were ready for the seed to grow. Can y'all just chuck the seed in my cup real quick? Just very good. And can you tell you're ready for it to grow? Very good. So someone came and planted that seed, or a bunch of someone's. However, it didn't just need to be planted, it needed to be watered. The seeds knew to start placing its roots deep in the ground and sprouting the beginning of an idea. Can y'all help me water it? Just make some little rain fingers. Oh, it's very good. Oh, and it's rooting. Wow, fantastic. It's singular root. But water was still not enough. It also needed plant food to grow. That way, the idea could become a reality. Can y'all feed the plant? Oh, thank you. It was really hungry. And then finally, when it had grown, it grew. It needed to be remembered by those who had nurtured it and those who cared for it, and it had to be introduced by those who nurtured it to people who had never met it before, so they could see what a seed of endless possibility could do. A representation that when we embrace this seed, this idea, when we nurture the earth and each other, a dream can grow into reality. With that, our kids will head downstairs for RE with our volunteers, where they will be working on the RE service for next month. Every Sunday, we create together here a time of quiet meditation, a time for each other to connect again to what our highest ideals are. Feel the ground below you. Feel your body relaxing. Maybe it's starting to slouch a little, or you're stretching your arms out nice and wide, and just take a breath. Let yourself feel whatever it is that you feel. During this meditation time, first we'll join together in our centering song. Then we'll sit for a time of shared quiet. Then we'll share our joys and sorrows, and I will lead us in prayer. Our worship theme for April is Embracing Possibility, and our centering song this month is I Know This Rose Will Open, number 369. Please remain seated and join in the song as you like, letting it guide you gently into the time of shared meditation. It is our tradition in worship to share with one another the milestones of our lives, our personal joys and sorrows. And while we refrain from sharing announcements here, we can share about the events of the week that have impacted us personally. We speak and listen with care so that our sharing knits us closer together in love, weaving our stories further together. Please come forward to speak at the mic. Folks on Zoom can type in the chat box and I will read them aloud. Please come forward with any sorrows that you would have to share. Thank you for sharing these joys, which help us to connect us and remind us of the true beauty of living. And now we light one more candle to shine our thanks for the many blessings in our lives, both shared and unshared. Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer in the posture most comfortable for your body. Spirit of love, of life, of the possible, hold us in this moment, the sacred moment of us joining together and being in community. Hold all the medical worries we have of our beloveds. Let them have pathways to healing and the care that they need. Let us celebrate those that we see on a path that is joyous. Let us remember the joy of this earth, of caring for it, of being part of it, and of seeing family who we don't see every day. We live in a messy, complicated, and harsh world, but we also live in a beautiful, gracious, and kind world. God of possibilities, hold us in all of that. Hold us in the complexity and messiness of this world as we make our way through the week, and continue to hold all of our joys and sorrows. Amen, and blessed be.
Our church is self-funded, supported by your generous annual pledge. You may also give to our weekly collection, which we split every month with a worthy group via our Giving Beyond Our Walls program. Remote folks can donate using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. In honor of Earth Day, Earthwise Aware is the Giving Beyond Our Walls recipient for April. Earthwise Aware is a young conservation organization focused on bringing citizen science, ecological ethics, and environmental leadership to the heart of local communities. Half of our collection plate in April will go to Earthwise Aware. In line with our theme for the month, which is embracing possibility, we're going to sing a new piece today. It's called Come and Join Me in the Dance.
For my sermon, I'm going to take off the mask. All right. Let me start with this reading from Carl Sagan. Maybe you've heard it before. From this distant vantage point, the earth might not seem of any particular interest, but for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you know, everyone you heard of, every human being who has ever lived their lives here. The aggregate of our joy and our suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeless child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in sunbeam. The earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatred, our posturing, our self-imagined importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity and all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The earth is the only world so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Like it or not, for the moment, the earth is where we make our last stand. Has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceitus than the distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Carl Sagan. So I am 4, maybe 5, visiting my papa, just like we do every Sunday after attending First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City. He lives on an acre in rural Oklahoma in my dad's childhood home. It is surrounded by forest and farms, and next door is the Eubanks farm. Years ago, my papa and my grandma bought this land from the Eubanks because they had a long-standing friendship and it was a great deal. My dad is taking me on an adventure like the ones he used to go on as a kid. He teaches me carefully how to climb the Eubanks barbed wire fence. And I want to point out there was a normal fence, but this was part of the adventure. And watch for stickers as we went down the pasture to get to the creek. He shows me one of the rocks, a den he built as a kid. I get covered in the red dirt, which is impossible to get out of clothes. My shoelaces, despite my best attempts, get covered in stickers, and I look for critters in the creek. At some point in my life, I'm allowed to go play on the Eubanks land by myself, trusted to know the way and not to go if the cows, horses, or donkeys were out. But there, on that land, I saw a crawfish in the creek. I caught frogs and let them jump out of my hands. I collected rocks and carved things with a stick into the soft stone. I picked up trash that would blow in from the road. I watched droughts where even the pond was dry, and I watched floods where the creek would overfill. Technically, the land might have been the Eubanks land, but it is where my father had played as a kid, where my grandma caught a giant fish, and almost every Sunday after church, that land was mine, and I was the land's. The land taught me the generational love of a place, that many people have nurtured this land, and the land nurtured us. And much like there are people I have never known who cared for it, there will be people who have never known me, my family, or the Eubanks. However, I trust the land will continue to be nurtured and give nurture in return. This is the only home I have ever known, the one that makes the vignettes of my life and of all of our life. Think of your stories. What was the first time you realized your love for this land, for the food we eat, for the ways community makes those things available to us, for the ways you give back in return? And those moments, those stories we tell, do not connect us to ourselves, but to one another. And when we connect to one another, we connect to the earth. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but the fact is this: we are kin to the earth, and the earth is kin to us. It is an easy thing to forget as we train our brains to think about nature as an it our entire lives. I'm sure I have fallen into this pattern just in the time I've been speaking. Robin Wall Kimmerer said in her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, that, quote, "Toddlers speak of plants and animals as if they were people, extending to them self and intention and compassion until we teach them not to. We quickly restrain them and make them forget. When we tell them that the tree is not a who, but an it, we make that maple an object. We put a barrier between us, absolving ourselves a moral responsibility and opening the door to exploitation." End quote. What a quote. And also, what a truth. Anyone who has hung around a toddler knows that they are the world's most leading experts in embracing possibility, because for them, all they are doing is new. There is no rhetoric that has convinced them that this is the way things must be done, or that certain things are good or bad. They see dandelions and don't see weeds, but beautiful flowers. They ask about every single thing, and it makes one pause. Because why do we do things the way we do? Why are we so quick to separate ourselves from the natural world, to ignore teachings from those who came before us, to siphon ourselves off from one another? What has made us so afraid to embrace possibility? Why is it so hard for us to remember the simple fact that an Aboriginal rights group coined in the 1970s, "Your liberation is bound up with mine"? In Chelsea, the smallest city in Massachusetts, that's about 8.5 miles away from our church, it has a pollution problem disproportionate to its size. This is not because the people of Chelsea are somehow more susceptible to pollution or doing something inherently wrong, but because of environmental racism. Environmental racism can be defined as the, quote, "intentional siting of pollution and waste facilities in communities primarily populated by people of color, migrant farm workers, and low-income workers." Chelsea is a primarily non-white immigrant community. There, in Chelsea, about 3/4 of New England's fuel and gasoline are held. Road salt is held there. There's a vegetable and fruit processing center. And this all means that trucks emitting fumes are driving through there literally all the time. It means asphalt is also everywhere. And when you have lots of asphalt, do you know what happens? Any guesses? It gets hot. The temperature rises significantly, warmer than it is in the suburbs by 20 to 40 degrees. Yet, in some ways, we're lucky. Massachusetts at least has areas states dub as environmental justice zones, and they know that work needs to be done there. But more than what the government does, the people there recognize something important. This is their home, and they have to care for it so it can care for them. Green Roots, a nonprofit in Chelsea, works to care for the place around them. They are trying to build cool blocks, areas with more greenery and heat-reflecting roofs, trying to solve this problem of how much hotter it gets because of all this asphalt. Caring for each other means caring for the earth, and caring for the earth means caring for each other. When things get too hot and pollutants are in the air, people get sick and people die. We see movement away here in this example from, well, we have always stored these things here, and, well, that's just how things are, towards what can we create? What can exist that hasn't before? Chelsea is a case study of people embracing the question of what if things can change? What if things can change? What if possibility can be embraced beyond the neighborhood, for folks to realize profit is not more important than people or the land that loves us? What if we take time to recognize Earth is our home, the only place that has ever been our home? When we hurt it, when we hurt the Earth, when we hurt her, we hurt each other. When we forget that it is all connected, we create opportunities within the work we do to harm one another. When it gets hot outside, not only do people get sick, but we see an increase of police in neighborhoods that are already over-policed. And this too creates harm to the interdependent web. As Mariama Kaba, an organizer, educator, and abolitionist, wrote in her book, "We Do This Till We Free Us," she says, quote, "I dread summer. It's the season of hyper-surveillance and even more aggressive policing of young people of color in my neighborhood. My anecdotal observations are supported by empirical data," end quote. She points to the ACLU data and makes a note of the argument that people say, well, crime rates are higher in the summer. But part of that is because interaction opportunities are higher in the summer. People are in public more, and there are more police. When it gets hot in prison and in jails, conditions get worse. People have heat strokes and do not get adequate care. Climate change impacts the people we have decided not to see, that we forget are our kin because it is uncomfortable to recognize their full humanity. We decide punitive systems that pretend they will rehabilitate but really further traumatize are adequate solutions for when people cause harm. We tell ourselves that this is how things are done and there are no other possibilities. And right now, some of you might be thinking I've gone off of the deep end in the middle of my Earth Day sermon. But here's the thing. It's all connected. Prisons have been found in studies to contribute to climate change as well. From emissions made through the building of prisons to prison work programs that have folks building industrial goods for as low as 23 cents an hour. In California, incarcerated folks have been hired as firefighters, responding to some of the most dangerous fires we have seen in recent history, brought on us by forgetting how to tend to the land, brought on us from forgetting the knowledge our ancestors, our indigenous relatives taught us. Those firefighters made $1 an hour until September 2025, where they now make the federal minimum wage $7.25. Which is still well below what a non-incarcerated firefighter makes in California. Abolition is really one of the hardest practices of embracing possibility. One time in seminary in my restorative justice class, a question was brought up asking, what about transformative justice? If you don't know the difference, Adrienne Marie Brown explains that restorative justice attempts to restore the conditions before the harm took place. However, usually the original condition is itself one that has a number of injustices built into it. Transformative justice takes a little bit of a deeper dig. How can we also address the root cause of the injustice and move forward to an even stronger community? Now, when that question came up in this class, what about transformative justice, we were all starting from that point of already knowing what it was. And my professor responded by saying that those who were believers in transformative justice were a little eschatological, a fancy word for talking about the end of the world. I got really frustrated with him after that class. For weeks, I could not handle that this person who I respect, who is one of my favorite teachers, didn't think transformative justice, didn't think abolition was really possible without end times, without, for him, because he was Christian, the second coming of Jesus. And also, with time, I get it. I get it because there are times I forget to imagine what could be possible and let the little demon of it's always been that way slip in. So many of the things we hope for feel like something that's only possible in another world, something that could only happen if corruption didn't run deep and people weren't the way they are. However, as Mariam Kaba said, quote, people like me have a vision of a different society, built on cooperative instead of individualism, on mutual aid instead of self-preservation. What could this country look like? Have billions of extra dollars to spend on housing, food, and education for all. End quote. What would it look like? What would it look like to end environmental racism? What would it look like to build new systems and let go of the old? What would it look like to remember that kinship runs deeper than we would ever know? We aren't the first generation of people to have these questions. In fact, I would say these are deeply pressing spiritual questions that have moved through generations. Many of our spiritual ancestors have talked about that it is not what happens after death that matters, but what is happening in the present that we should focus on. To work towards building heaven on earth, not in some distant future, but to do the work here and now. That part of being a people of faith is trying our damnedest to do the impossible. Earth is the only home we have ever known, Carl Sagan reminded us at the start. Everything that has ever happened in our history has happened here. All our joy, all our suffering, all our mundane days happened here. And all the possibilities, that little seed of possibility for everything that may happen also exists here. And I know it's a little hard to talk about building heaven on earth with everything that is happening on our earth. There's a lot of horrible things in this world. And I'm sure we wish we couldn't imagine those things. But imagining what could be possible in a world where we honor kinship, where we keep a discipline of hope, lets us keep moving forward. It reminds us to not be lost in despair. Ask yourself, what practices do you hold in the realm of possibility? What keeps you grounded in embracing the possible? For me, one of those practices is prayer. The Chromecast doesn't like us today, so let me end us with one. God of endless possibilities, Help us imagine if everything went right, what could happen. Remind us that this earth is not all horrors, but beauty as well. Let us remember the endless possibilities that exist in a toddler asking us why. And show us that when we are kin to the earth and kin to each other, the impossible becomes possible. Amen, and blessed be. And in 1 second, when I get the words on the screen, please join us in our closing hymn. Our closing hymn, As We Will Rise Together, is, I believe, a new one for us, and the words will appear on the screen.
Yeah, please. Just because this is new today, I just want to let you know that there's a little bit of an interlude between the verses. So there'll be a couple of piano measures in between so you can catch your breath.
Thank you, Tom. Please join us in our final hymn. Oh, nope. Please remain standing. Let's just do it again. Remain standing and join me in the chalice extinguishing words now on the screen. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Together we carry hearts until we are together again. Our service has ended. Please enjoy a brief postlude from Tom. Then please join for refreshments in Parish Hall. Thank you for worshiping with us today. Happy Sunday, and I hope none of you get my cold.